Hello guys, welcome to this trading section. I call it trading section, getting started. Now I'll be doing this analysis assuming that you just want to invest into this stock market. And before you go into that, there are some things you have to be conscious of. Now it's not just us buying any stock, you must understand the category those stocks also belongs to. So in this section, we're looking at the S&P 500 index. What is S&P 500 index? Firstly, as I said, it represents the Standard and Poor's was 500. So it simply means that it tracks 500 performance of what 500 companies listed on stock exchange. It is one of the most commonly followed equity what indexes. So people tend to use this chart as a guide because it's like you combining 500 companies together. So the chart has combined everything together. So looking further into this, it has different components that mean different stocks that is attached into it. So you can see Agilent Technologies, Apple, Airbnb, different lots of Adobe, lots of them. And if you look at one thing about them is there's no much slight change in price. Either you're doing like less minus 1% or 0.5% kind of. So it serves as a guide for us. So now looking at the charts, now, for this chart, we are using S&P 500 as a guide to our what trading decisions to just invest. So now, people look at this chart and like, okay, let me do the analysis of S&P 500 to decide whether it's good for me to buy. So imagine that you've actually bought when price was around this particular zone here. You see, that will have been a good entry because it is like see, it's a strong support zone. Support zone means where buyers are willing to do what to buy. And if you notice in the past, our left is always like the past of history. So someone else will have bought around this zone. Now, what do you think now happened? When price was coming down, people felt that price want to drop further. What happened? So if you had bought here and probably price went as high as this, so there are strategies we use involved in trading this market. So those are things we consider. As you can see, what has happened in the past, you will notice that price has been doing what has been trending towards this side here. You see, price has been down, going down, and now technically we actually know what's happened now. What happened here now? Price changed here. There was a change in price here, which is the same thing that's happening here. So someone that is smart realizes as price is going down, all of a sudden there was a change here. My entry will have been this. And what I'll now be looking up to is to see possibility of being what buying as price is going higher. Now, this is a good entry. Price went as high to test this resistance zone here. Price did what came down again, which would have been another good entry. So, what are we expecting price to do here? So, looking further, we can decide to draw our unlikely areas we expect price to do what to test in the future. So, I'm expecting price to test this 46,000, 4,600 area because as it is now, that is the direction. You can see what's happening in this channel, the way price is moving around this channel. So it's too late for me to jump into the market. I rather wait for price to come and test this support zone. These are lows. This is a low, this is a higher low. You get this is a higher high, sorry, higher low, higher high, higher low. Oh, this is serve as a guide. So now if you are climbing the staircase and you get a particular level, and getting to that level, realize that if you can't go further, what happen? Price will do what? Will tank or will probably come down. Now, that is what's happening on this chart now. So someone that is wise will have entered when there was a breakout around these zones for possible targets of around this area here. So those are things individuals don't know. They just jump into the market and they just feel that they can just what make profit. No, we have to just guide you through. Now you can see this is what a buy entry level. So it means that even if I've bought thinking that price will go further and price dip down, likely areas price will get to is still around this zone here for another possible entry. You understand? So those are determinant factor of that. So if I'm to jump into S&P now, it is too late for me to jump. So it's not like I can't jump. If I actually want to go into short-term trading, for my daily time frame, I cannot go to a 1 hour time frame where I feel that I should be able to still enter. You understand? So now you can see what's happening here now. Price is what within the channel. So if price likely come around this area, I'll be looking at buying any of those assets because S&P already is what is heading towards a resistance zone here. So let me just pick one of those stocks that's under S&P 500 that I said earlier on. So let's look at the same list, and from here you can see different companies that are here. Um, and one thing about this analysis, we look at We don't do offline. We don't do like we look at real time scenarios. So I'm going to pick one of them. Let me pick back. So while it's loading now, I use TradingView to do my analysis. It gives me everything. So I'm going to open my super chart. We now look at the chart. So I'm opening this for the first time. So whatever thing that comes to what I'm going to analyze on. You understand? So now, as you can see on my daily time frame, we said earlier on that S&P is heading towards the resistance zone. But what I'm seeing on this chart, realize that its price is still within this channel. So it means that we're expecting price to do or to break that channel to the upside. Because as you can see, and I can start drawing out my likely levels. Because in the past, price has been doing what price went as high, and what happened in the past as it went high, it did what? It broke that trend line to the upside. You can see what happened there. The market changed dimension here, changed the trend here. So we're expecting a breakout of this trend to probably get to like 42. So if I'm to trade based on all this, I'm looking at what has happened in the past. I'll try and zoom in close. You can see as I'm zooming in close, I'm going back as 2016, 2017, 2018. You see, one thing about planning your trade is you have to just know what has happened in the past, because what has happened in the past has more tendency of what it repeating itself. So if I'll be doing trade plan for this, my likely trade zones, entry zones will be what? Will be around. I will have bought the first one here. I'm only looking at three setup zones here. Second one here, and the third one here. You can see. So with this one, I won't lose in this market because already looking through this, realize that in the past, price has not really gone that low. You understand? So there are a lot of tools you can also apply to just know probably our likely areas of support and resistance zones here. So this is just an overview of how it works. So as it is already around the 0 point, so anything 0.5, 0.618, 0.7 are like lucky areas of what my buy zone. So my target will now be where this will be my target. But in case the market dip down to this area, I'll also buy. So most times, if you are looking at investing into this asset, for example, now the first thing you have to do is now that we've plotted all those things, you have to consider like, okay, what are my buy zones? So I look at 25.62 as my first buy zone. Add it together with what 28.88. So that's if the market triggered all the buy zones. Now, the best way to do your dollar cost averaging is this. So by the time you add all this together in all, you'll be getting, let's just sum it up together. So by the time you add this together, this is like 45, let's say like 60 divided by 3. That should be like around, so your average price should be around this 23, $24, which is still fine. And our target is what? $44. You can see we're on our way to what? Making close to where? Close to over 60% to 70% profit. And looking at the chart, you can see that Bank of America still has potential of breaking out of this channel. But if it further deep down to this channel, I'm expecting a continuation. Now, most people look at the further once it's within this channel, there's no point rushing in. I rather wait for price to break around that channel. But most of the time, anything can happen in this market. So you should be ready for both ways that can happen in this market. So, guys, this is just like an idea of how I always consider things. I look at where the direction of S&P is first before I now do what? Jump into it. Another determinant factor you have to consider is also what your dollar index, which is the dollar. Now, one thing about the dollar is if the dollar is going down, I'm expecting S&P to do what? To go higher. And as you can see, where the dollar is now on our daily time frame, the symbol is the XY. So I believe over time, by the time we start posting our trade calls here, you understand how we do our analysis. So what we are seeing here is you can see this strong momentum candle. You see, look at the way price is aligned through this. Now, price broke here, it came down. So most likely, price could do what? That retreats back to this place and do what and say head down. So once our dollar is going higher, we're expecting our S&P index to do what? To go higher. So it trades inversely. But at times, in most cases now, the dollar index is down and S&P is what? Up. So at times, if fundamental news come to the market, it's also do what determines that also. Now, see what happened to Bitcoin also. The same thing still happened. So now we're looking at S&P and our dollar index. You see, our S&P is up, our dollar is what? Down. So you can see the correlation that happens here now. So those are things I look at. So before I now say, okay, let me go and look at buying any particular stock, I can now say, okay, because the dollar is down. So even if I'm trading forex, I will set my USDT. See, USDT is up, but it's trying to do what? It's trying to come down. Then New Zealand dollar should do what? Up. That is what happened here. Sure, you understand. So across every platform, those are things you have to be conscious of it when you're trying to do anything. So, and I believe the little thing we've done here, you've understood what I'm saying about analyzing the market. So before you jump into investing in any of those assets, you must be able to look at what's happening to the S&P 500 first before I can even jump into the market. Is S&P 500 heading towards the resistance area, or is it on the support zone here before I can now say, okay, fine, I want to invest. So in previous lessons to come, this is just like an overview of how I look at the S&P 500. We also look at other markets also. And I believe it's a good thing as you join this channel. We'll also be looking at cryptocurrency assets, how we analyze them, and how we analyze every other market. Thank you.